So I had a really long 44-hour labour, but when I finally got to hold my baby, I whispered to her, "You're the baby that I've been dreaming of," and that's what she's been for me ever since. My mum, who's a health visitor, when I was pregnant, had emailed me the best tips ever on breastfeeding, because she said that's what you're going to be doing, and she was really right. When you have a baby, regardless whether you breastfeed or not, feeding, feeding, feeding. And that was definitely true for me. A lot of my friends stole that information and applied it to their babies, and it quickly spread around the West London area. I had very good tips on bottle and breastfeeding. I don't know if other people thought this, but I found becoming a parent, I was up here, and then I was down here. And it's really emotional time, but I also felt that sometimes I felt really connected to my husband, and other times I felt that life was a bit unequal, and I had this huge challenge, but I had to learn to really give him space to become the great father that he is, and we definitely benefit from a little R&R time, just as a couple. That's one thing that I've really learned. But maternity leave was definitely the best year of my life. It's cake and it's chats, and to be honest, it's the first time I really felt like me since I've been a student at university. I really reconnected with who I was. I had a lot of fun. I was my own boss, and I think if there's another time around, I'm going to be so much kinder to myself the second time around. I'm going to realise that you don't have to be perfect, and you should take offers of help. That's the big thing that I've learned. But when my daughter turned 6 months, I'm a writer, and I started for the first time to write every day, and that completely changed my life. I'd always wanted to write a novel, but what I ended up doing was copy editing all the wonderful baby advice that my mum was emailing me and my friends, and after a year we had the Trust Yourself Guide to Your Baby's First Year, which is really exciting and not at all the book that I thought I would write. When my daughter turned 1, it was terribly exciting. We had a literary agent and offers on our book, but it was also really sad because I had to go back to my job. And if I was really honest, if I hadn't been so worried about how we're going to keep a roof over our heads and pay the mortgage, I would not have gone back to work. Not to the civil service, anyway. And actually, when I did go back to work, I really felt like I was a different person. I felt different, what I wanted was different, and how I felt about my job was different. And it wasn't just that I missed my daughter, I missed writing every day. I missed feeling like me, and suddenly having to work compressed hours to just get a little bit of time with her was very hard. And if truth be told, my Ava's child carer took that picture, and I wanted to be the one doing stuff like that with her, and not somebody else. And after 3 months, I really started to feel like I was losing myself. I had my wisdom teeth out, and I came back and I was in tears at the thought of going back to my job. And a friend of mine texted me and she said, "Stop shilly-shallying and hand in your notice." And I actually did. I did it about a minute later, and was very worried. And then the next week we got a book deal from HarperCollins for the baby book. Not just for the baby book, but for me to write 2 memoirs of my mum's life as a nurse and then a health visitor. And so I went freelance. I started up my own business. I'm a writer, and I used to be a creative, and I'm a creative again, and that feels really good. And so I do brand language and campaigns, and actually most of my clients are other mothers who run their own businesses, and they get that whole balance thing. They get that being a person and having a business and trying to make it all kind of fit together. And I write during nap times, so having clients that understand that is really important to me. And since I've done that, I love it. I love being at home with Ava. I love being a writer. I like being my own boss. I really do. And I've decided that I'm not perfect, and actually I don't want to be perfect anymore. I think if I write brilliant copy in the morning, and I manage to make puppets with her in the afternoon, and we are having baked beans on toast for tea, and there's nothing wrong with that. And to be honest, I've never really felt more like me since I made that decision, and that's my story.